he has gone back to his master, like all of us will. But the Quran remains. If you recite Quran, even today it will be giving you the message. وَمَنْ يُطِعِ اللَّهَ وَالرَّسُولَ فَأُولَٰئِكَ مَعَ الَّذِينَ أَنْعَمَ اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِمْ. Whoever obeys Allah and this Prophet will be rewarded, and the rewards would be in the form of his being a prophet, a siddiq, a shaheed, a saleh. So how can you take a position contradictory to this message of the Quran? But we don't know. All we can say is, we don't know. If a prophet comes, he will have to support his case with the help of the verses of the Quran, with the help of the traditions and clear prophecies of Hadhrat Rasul Akram sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If he does that and proves his case, then of course he will be accepted. Otherwise he will be rejected. Right? Jazakallah. Wa alaikum rahmatullah.
I'm asking this question on behalf of a young lady who is present here.
Yes.
She says that her teacher often says in class that according to her findings, Sanskrit is the first language of the world.
The teacher should restart her learning of the subject of languages, because she is talking of the past ages. There was a time when Maxwell presented this idea that Sanskrit was probably the first language known to man. But the later generations of scholars have unanimously rejected this. They say there is internal evidence in Sanskrit which rules out the possibility of Sanskrit being the first language. So they are in search of other languages. Hadhrat Masih Maud alayhi salatu wasalam was told by Allah through a revelation that the first language was Arabic. And more scholars now are turning in favor of Arabic. And a book written on this revelation by Hadhrat Masih Maud alayhi salam is entitled Minanur Rahman. This has also been translated into sort of English. Not a good translation, but anyway, one can understand. So this girl should be advised to give this book to that lady, and if she still insists that she is right, more evidence should be provided to her in the form of the books of Hazrat Sheikh Muhammad Ahmed Sahib, late Sheikh Muhammad Ahmed Sahib, who has developed the theme built in the Al-Minanur Rahman and taken up language after language to trace that language back to Arabic scientifically, based on the 12 principles which have been mentioned by Hazrat Masih Maud alayhi salam in Al-Minanur Rahman. So if she reads, for instance, English traced to Arabic, I hope she would begin to understand that it is certainly not Sanskrit, and if not certainly, most probably it is Arabic, which is the mother of all tongues.
The second part of the question was where can she have access to literature in English language, which will point to Arabic being the mother of languages?
London Mosque, of course. You should have answered this question yourself.
I wasn't sure whether the book is available.
Pardon?
I wasn't sure whether the English translation is available.
I say address your question to London Mosque. I'm not London Mosque. Yes, go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum, Wazir. Indirectly linked to the question of abortion, what is the Islamic point of view on euthanasia?
On euthanasia?
Yes.
The mercy killing?
Yeah.
I've already explained.
In particular, I was thinking...
Whether you call it euthanasia or mercy killing, virtually it is the same thing.
Right.
So I've already answered.
In particular, I was
You can't kill even yourself. So there lies the answer of every sort of killing, unless it is specifically justified by God. In case where you have been attacked, for instance, you have the right to defend your life. In case you have to kill certain animals for human usage, where they are permitted to be eaten by you. In such cases and some other cases, for instance, where you have to save life, a superior life, you can kill an inferior life. Principal teachings of the Quran, in the light of which you should determine about individual cases. There is no mention of any mercy killing, permissibility of mercy killing in any religion, not to my knowledge.
This is the general point of view of Islam.
Yes, that's right.
In particular, the case of one of the victims of the Hillsborough tragedy, who recently there was a big debate about him, whether he should be kept alive or not, because he was in a vegetative state, and
the question is not this, whether you can kill somebody or not. The question is how to define the state of a person who is hanging between life and death. The scientist should determine whether he is closer to death or to life. So if it is a vegetative growth, as you have yourself said, I don't think the term life can be applied to it. Because life in human terms does not mean just existence. Because man is created with a purpose. And that purpose is always related to consciousness and thinking and capability to decide. So if vegetative life comes under that definition, then you can't take that life either. But as I know, it certainly does not fall into the category of a type of life where the person who is going through the vegetative life can decide for himself, can take decisions, can understand things and believe or not believe. So if these all conditions are not met with in the case of vegetative life, then it is up to the doctors to keep it or drag it on, or not to keep or drag it on.
So does Islam give permission to these doctors? Does Islam give permission to these doctors to be able to make that?
I have already told you that I find Islamic teaching regarding life, when it applies to man, to mean life which is answerable, life which can think, life which can respond to the call of Allah. So if these conditions do not apply to a so-called living state, then the question of taking life or not to take life does not come into play at all. So it will not be a religious question then, entirely it will be a scientific question. Thank you. Oh yes.
At school.
Samar Faruqi?
Nasser Faruqi.
Nasser. Right.
At school, in history lessons, we're taught that Saladin was a bad man, and in other books we're taught that he was a good man.
What do you think? Tell me your personal opinion.
I'm not sure.
I'm really ashamed. Not for you, but for your mother. So when you return home, ask her this question. And also ask her, put her to task, why didn't she tell you before that he was a good man? Okay? Then let me know after you speak to her, whatever her response is, you let me know later on. Okay? Jazakallah. Welcome.
Does the Injil revealed to be used for Islam refer to the four Gospels or the whole of the New Testament, or just to teachings given to Jews?